everyone, it's Mira here, filling in for Renika today. Before we play today's episode, I'm excited to share with you some big news. For more than a year, Miseducation student reporters have been working on a story at the intersection of race, sports, and public education in Brooklyn's Park Slope neighborhood. It's called Keeping Score, and it's a co-production of the Bell and WNYC studios. You can listen to the first of 4 parts on Thursday, June 9th, right here in the Miseducation podcast feed. Wow, time flies. School's almost out for the summer, and we've arrived at the final episode of Season 6 in our own voices. We really appreciate all of the support we get from listeners like you. If you like what you hear, make sure to rate us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. It's one tap, and it really helps new listeners discover the show. In this episode, Miseducation intern Janelle Mayo shares her sister's harrowing experience navigating the public school system as a student with learning disabilities, and her mom's steadfast determination to get her daughter the support she needs. Here's the story.
Lazy is usually the first step of describing someone who's experiencing difficulty.
I bet you have a whole bunch of questions after hearing that. Well, that was my mother discussing how my sister was labeled lazy after struggling in school due to her learning disability. My name is Janelle Mayo, and I'm 17 years old. I'm from Harlem, New York City, and I attend a low-income public school in Central Harlem called Thurgood Marshall Academy. The topic of mental illnesses and disabilities has always hit close to home for me. I come from a family where mental health issues are like a tradition that gets passed down through every generation. This history with mental illnesses has made me more inclined to speak out for the individuals that live with them. In particular, I aim to shed light on the mistreatment of Black and Hispanic children with mental illnesses or disabilities in low-income public schools. According to a journal article from the American Academy of Pediatrics, living in a poor or low-income household has been linked to poor health and an increased risk of mental health problems in both children and adults. Despite their need for mental health services, children and families living in poverty are least likely to be connected with high-quality mental health care. It is estimated that less than 15% of American children experiencing poverty who are in need of mental health care receive services. My older sister Janaya falls into that 15% that did receive care, but this was after a lot of advocating on my mother's part. Janaya only began to see therapists 7 years ago, after my mom took her to get diagnosed when she was in middle school. Despite receiving mental health care, Janaya's issues didn't just vanish. She still struggled. To this day, my sister still visits her therapist.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you doing?
Fine, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you for asking. What's your name?
Janaya.
My older sister Janaya suffers from ADHD, which is otherwise known as Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, bipolar disorder, and ODD, which is otherwise known as Oppositional Defiant Disorder. This means that she can be irritable at times. She's very impulsive and impatient. She also struggles to sit still at times. As you can imagine, these disorders made her time in the public school system very difficult.
If you could describe Janaya's school experience with one word, what would you say?
Horrifying.
That's my mom again.
Starting out in elementary school, she struggled from, I'd say, first grade, completing work and staying on task. And it was obvious that she had a disability, but I wasn't able to get it diagnosed until she started acting out in middle school. And from there, they had me get her evaluated, past the point of evaluation, she still didn't receive much help in terms of school and support. They pretty much threw her in classes that she didn't belong in and passed her through the school system from grades, I'd say 6 to 12.
From kindergarten through 12th grade, Janaya attended 11 different schools.
My first elementary school was PS 182 in the Bronx. My second school was Icon Charter School, and then PS 197, Kipstar Middle School, New Tech Middle School, 161 Middle School, Union Square Academy. For sophomore year, I went to Connecticut for about 3 months, and then I attended Brooklyn Academy High School. And then to graduate and get my diploma, I went to City As High School.
Janaya and my mother have two different outlooks on Janaya's school experience. Janaya feels like the brunt of her mistreatment began at one of the middle schools she attended in Central Harlem.
The teachers there, they were very unsupportive in my opinion, especially to my kind, like, with learning disabilities, etc. They would have us sit on the floor if we didn't understand a question, or give us detention, even making fun of us sometimes.
She struggled a lot in school due to her learning disabilities. She would struggle to understand schoolwork. She could learn a subject and completely forget what she learned after the school day ended. She could read a page over and over again without comprehending what she was reading. She also became a victim of bullying. She struggled with making friends. Janaya recalls a time when a teacher betrayed her trust.
It was a time where I wrote in my diary about how I was feeling, about staffs and teachers in my school. It was a private book, although I was writing about them inside of the book. They ended up finding the book and reading it, and I was made fun of by the teachers. They were making copies of the book and laughing at the book, and just basically having a ball.
As a student who was being bullied, she turned to her journal as a confidant and friend. She felt humiliated when her teacher read her personal thoughts out loud for the entire class to hear. My sister felt extremely isolated after dealing with incidents like these. Luckily, she always had our mother as a source of support.
There are so many students that face academic and emotional challenges and receive no support. Usually those students are labeled as being bad or emotionally disturbed, which in certain cases that could be the case, but the majority of the students aren't receiving support within the school system. Counseling, tutoring, effective learning. You have a disability that needs to be considered before even approaching a possible solution.
Do you feel as if Janaya's race and ethnicity contributed to her mistreatment?
Yes, I absolutely feel like her race played a part, because I'm well aware that there are students of other races and family backgrounds that receive way more support within the school system. They're able to thrive from grades K through 12 and go on into college without feeling like it's impossible. Our kids, I feel as if they are left to, I don't want to say left to fail, but a lot of them fail because they don't have the correct support systems in place. The support systems that I did receive were only through personal research that I did in order to advocate for Janaya. But if I wasn't in a position to do that, she would just fall through the cracks like so many other students do.
Okay, thank you so much for your time and your testimony. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
There needs to be more of a spotlight on the biases within the educational system and a complete overhaul of how education is approached, because there are so many different ways to learn and a lot of different students that come from different backgrounds and different learning styles that need to be considered when educating the population as a whole.
Students with disabilities shouldn't have to face hardship in school based on things that they cannot change. They shouldn't be unfairly judged by their teachers and staff who are supposed to protect them. Although I cannot say that Janaya wouldn't have faced hardship if she went to a more resource school downtown, I can say that she likely wouldn't have faced the same backlash due to her disabilities. After everything, Janaya is doing okay. She'll be 21 by the end of this year. She currently maintains a steady job as a security guard, and she dreams of becoming an X-ray technician. Although the thought of her middle school experience makes her cringe, she looks back on that time and just hopes that today's children will never have to face what she did. For the Miseducation podcast, I'm Janaya.
And that's a wrap for Season 6. Don't forget to tune in June 9th for Part 1 of our new series, Keeping Score. Janelle wrote and reported this story with editing and production support from me, Mira Gordon, and Taylor McGraw. Music from Blue Dot Sessions and Lens Lewis. Miseducation is a program of the Bell and is supported by the Pinkerton Foundation, the Summerfield Foundation, and FJC. You can follow us on social media at MiseducationPod and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Until next time.